At 6:07, calling to order meeting of the Southern Berkshire Regional School District School Committee, number 1663, and welcome all.
Hello.
All right.
I move to approve the school committee minutes of meeting number 1662.
I second.
Okay. Any comments? I have a lot of.
Oh boy.
So why don't you just?
Why don't I just submit it?
I mean, is there something
it's
material or
no? They're just basically a lot of language issues,
okay.
And it's nothing substantive.
Okay. So we could.
The only substantive thing is under the Director of Student Services report, where it says, it's page 3 of the minutes, it says pre-K and kindergarten registration. I added, Bonnie Silvers asked about when R.S.D will be posting an ad in the shopper's guide regarding registration, and both you and Sandy responded that was
It's happening this week.
right. Okay. Everything else is language.
Okay, so
if everybody's okay with me just submitting the language changes without going through line by line, I promise you.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. All right. So could you amend your motion, Carl, so to include with edits?
Yes, I move to amend the motion and to restate it as a motion to approve the minutes with language changes and editing by the chair.
So who seconded you?
I did.
Okay, Kim, will you second?
I second again.
Okay, in that case, let's vote. David?
No.
Okay, Kyle?
Yes.
Yes.
Carl?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and yeses and 1 no. Okay. All right. Beth, to you for enrollment.
Okay. So it's page 2B in your packet, and you are at 625, which
Wow.
is a little uptick. We continue the uptick as of February 1st.
Any questions, Carl?
No, I just actually, in looking over the attendance notes and the minutes of that February 1st, the last meeting we had, there are 8 school committee members listed.
David was not listed. That's one of my edits.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions in terms of enrollment? Okay. Any comments that you wanted to make, Beth, in the area of enrollment?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Any receipt of correspondence?
No.
Okay. Student representative report.
Benville.
He's on the screen.
Ah,
Thanks.
okay.
Hello?
Hi, Ben.
Would you like me to speak?
Yes.
Alright, yes, the school has been very active recently. There were 2 interactive food drives that both moderately successful, especially due to Mr. Ides classroom, which created a lot of funding for the drive. Mother Raids, culinary, the cookie cart, all those have been selling quite well. There was a candy fundraiser and hot chocolate fundraiser from the 10th grade student council, as well as several grades. I believe 10th grade and the 11th grade collaborated in a coffee fundraiser recently, which also was successful, I believe, raising about $300, $500, I'm not sure. The Interact Club was in the holiday stroll and truck day. There's the current Valentine's Day song fundraiser where students are giving money to sing a song for members of the student council to sing songs to a friend or a loved one. And there is an upcoming Hong Kong exchange where students will be hosting students from Hong Kong to participate in school events. That's about the rest of them.
Do we have questions for Ben?
Any questions?
Just one, do we have all the host families for our visitors?
No, not yet. We have quite a few offers, but most of them are still working out accommodations and the like. But we're trying to get some support. And recently, actually today, there was a meeting with a lot of the student record, with a lot of the Interact Club members, Model UN, all those clubs. We discussed like who could possibly go to the Hong Kong exchange. So we're trying to make it work. I think we have probably like 4 of the families. I don't want to give you correct to this.
Okay, so I'm going to put out an ask to any of our community members who wind up watching this that we are still looking for host families for our Hong Kong visitors. With whom should they get in contact? If they are.
It's Graham. Stephanie Graham.
Right.
She's organizing the program and she would love people to participate.
So therefore, if anyone knows anyone who's willing to be a host family, Stephanie Graham at sgraham@sbrsd.org is the person to contact. Ben, thank you very much. It sounds like everybody's really busy.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, have a good evening. Do we have a student spotlight?
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Right. So this is something we put together kind of last minute, but we thought you'd enjoy some of the images of the 100th day of school, which was a week ago. Well,
you might want to turn the mic up a little. So
can you hear me?
Voice.
Okay, cool. Last Tuesday, and then for pre-K, it was actually last Friday because we always start pre-K the week after the opening of school. And here we have students playing with the number 100. In let's see, in pre-K we just practice counting to 100. In kindergarten we learn that 100 is a multiple of 5, 10, 20, 25, etc. Wow. In third grade, in first grade, then we also learned that it's a perfect square. And then I actually had a second grader who I can't pretend to have known this ahead of time, taught me that if you add up the consecutive first 10 odd integers from 0 up to 19, the first 10, the sum of all those numbers is 100. Wow. So here we have the 100th day of school. We have some kindergarten, some pre-K. We did this at New Marlborough, South Egremont, and at Under Mountain.
That's great. With a real practical
The older kids are more excited about the idea that we're more than halfway through the school year. By older kids, I mean the faculty and staff.
Who came up with all of these different projects, the ideas?
The teachers. Yeah. We do a first grade fashion show. This is everything but the number 100. So where students create our projects and turn the 100 into an animal.
Those are clouds there now last week.
Yeah.
I noticed, I saw it.
You did.
One of my kids was a porcupine. We stuck Q-tips, 100 Q-tips all over her in a white shirt.
Yep.
When it was 100 days.
Lots of us did lots of those projects.
Oh, great.
That is New Marlboro first grade. Oh, and there's the actual, they do a fashion show.
Yeah.
And families come in, and they did this at Undermountain as well. So they're donning all their original threads, etc. This is a marshmallow. Honestly, I don't know what the relevance of this one is.
What's the one on, like the rainbow?
But yeah, we have a lot of fun on the 100th day. We do some trivia during lunch, and it's fun playing with numbers, and just kids get to do some interactive projects.
Thank you.
Any questions, comment? I love the practical application. And I'm impressed by the fact that they can use these parts of 100 at such a young age. Well,
We're lucky we have a 10-base number system. Otherwise,
Right.
it would be crazy.
and do you think they still remember?
Some do, some don't. I mean, I saw one kid who had Hershey Kisses stuck, and before the end of the day, I think there were a lot less than 100. So it was great, though. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment out there? Is that Elizabeth? You make it, you,
Yes, the agenda I looked on the other day showed that the budget was, the school calendar was on the agenda, but I don't see it on the agenda that I printed out this evening, the draft calendar.
It's under 12A.
Okay, I see it there, I'm sorry. I just want to speak on that as a teacher. I recognize that there are, the PD days are all falling on the same day of the week. We have 7 half-days on Wednesdays, which is a problematic for specialist teachers because they only meet with the children specifically on 1 day a week. So if your child has, the Spanish is the assigned day is Wednesday, the students whose Spanish is to be on the half-day have 7 less sessions of Spanish a year. And then we also have a full day, PD day on a Wednesday as well. And those are my concern that, so actually it would be 8 days for students who have on that opportunity for learning. Another, the half days, their placement. As a teacher, you try to make momentum and move in go on the subject and work across several days in a row. And I recognize, I saw that 2 of the BG days are very close to the vacation. The one in February is the week before, is the Wednesday before the school vacation. And the one in April is the Wednesday after. And those were just things that are game. Thank you.
Liz, thank you for your concern, raising it with us. Okay, any other public comment? All right. Business managers report, do we have one this evening?
We do not.
Okay. Business with district member towns?
I don't have anything separate.
Chairman's report, I do not have anything additional to what I said just a week ago. In other words, we want to get information into our different local newspapers. That's a big part of the move ahead. And if any, again, I'll reiterate, if anybody whose term is up this coming November is not planning on running for re-election, please try to enlist individuals who might be interested and suggest that they log on to see one or more of our meetings. All right, superintendent's report.
So I feel like we've been spending a lot of time together with the different meetings, so I don't have a huge report to share. I will just comment on the fact that we had our second finance subcommittee meeting last Thursday night, which was well attended by not only our school committee and school administration who did the presentation, but also by our community members who had the opportunity to listen to the operations side of the budget. We do build it in phases, and the next phase will happen, which is more of a complete picture of where we're at in the preliminary phase, will happen on February 22nd. But there's a lot of work going into the budget, and I think so far we're pleased with our progress on our initiatives, as well as how we're doing on our financial projections. I also wanted to, what was I going to tell? So we have our newsletter that went out today on Monday, which has some updates for the week, with the reminder that next week is our February break. I'm trying to, and I think I had the last meetings of my superintendent advisory councils with the youngest group finishing out since I saw you, and they are very enthusiastic and have broken into some subcommittees and have taken their tasks very seriously. So they are currently working on their presentations to the school committee and the wider community about things that they feel they need, as well as they just have such big hearts, and they're generous in some celebrations that they wanted to do. So I'm not going to spill the secret, but they are working very hard in subcommittees to accomplish their goals. So you'll be seeing more of what they are coming up with very soon.
I love that our students are getting more involved in this way.
They are great.
All right, any questions for the superintendent? All right. With that, I turn it over to you, Ms. Dolan.
Okay, great. So the last presentation I gave you was around our math curriculum, K-8, and I said I would follow up with a similar information about ELA. So we began with a new reading program this fall called Into Reading. And what I'm going to talk to you a bit about is how we ended up with this program, so that you have the full picture, because many of you were not around when we started the process. So spring of 2021, or that summer, we looked at assessments such as MCAS, DRA, which is Developing Reading Assessment, DIBELS, which is Dynamic Indicators of Basic Early Literacy, and we noticed that there was this trend where our students were not scoring as well as they had pre-pandemic. And so we thought this is the perfect time to do a curriculum review, because based on the data, they weren't getting what they needed. So from there, we came up with sent a survey out to teachers saying what were they looking for in a reading and writing program. We did that winter. Then after we had that together and we looked at the current research on reading and realized what our students needed to move ahead, we invited all teachers to participate in a summer work where we provided them with information and resources to research 6 different programs. They spent time over the summer doing that. They filled out surveys on information, and what we did was we narrowed it down instead of having everybody look at all 6. So we narrowed it down to 3, and we then spent that year, which would have been fall of 2022 is when they focused on all 3 programs. So they were sent information, digital information, hard copy information. They were given presentations from the vendors, they were given feedback from teachers in other districts who had already used the 3 products. Then they were given time to do pilots on any or all of the 3. And in the end, that spring, the final decision, spring of 2023, was that we would purchase into reading. And so that was, fortunately, the decision was made in time that we were able to purchase and receive the materials before the end of last school year.
Oh.
So teachers were able to actually dig in right away. We were able to have a professional development on it before they left for the summer, so that helped them if they wanted to spend their summer digging in a little bit more. So we started implementation this fall, and as a part of the implementation this fall, we hired a coach that is coming in 4 times this year to focus on the research on the science of reading and how that ties into the high-quality resource they've been given, how they can utilize that. Our curriculum coordinator, Christina Carlson, in November started a learning community, professional learning community that she offered to all elementary staff to meet on 1 Wednesday a month after school. And it's just a great time for them to collaborate. They talk about what's working with the program, what's frustrating them. They help each other out to navigate through things. And as a result of their work, I'm going to provide them with professional development points, which they need for their recertification when they go to relicensure. So they are getting a little something back for their extra work after school. So that, I think that kind of gives you a good overview of how we do any curriculum review process and selection. Okay.
Any questions? The usual pain here is going to ask questions. How many teachers and what grades were involved in this? In the review?
In the review.
Mm-hmm.
In the review of the 3 final ones,
Mm-hmm.
all teachers.
Oh, wow.
All teachers.
And did you get feedback from?
Yep.
Great.
So, got good feedback. It was a tough decision. There are a lot of good products out there. And
who's the publisher?
H&H.
Oh.
So Hopkins Mifflin.
Right.
People who don't know.
And then in this work that Christine Carlson's been doing, how many teachers have been going for the after school?
It changes, you know, they can't always make it every week, but I think that she has about 10 people who are participating on a regular basis. So yeah, it's been going well. And the feedback that she has given me from those PLCs is that, you know, this point in the year, they're starting to get really comfortable with the new program. And, you know, the first year of any new program is a lot of work, so they are working hard.
I love the fact that we have you giving feedback. It's not a teacher giving information and then you wait a whole other year for one session. The fact that we have you, that makes a difference. Having been a teacher,
yes.
hating waiting and not having information.
Right.
So on the whole, are they satisfied with the program?
Yes, I met with a teacher today about it, and we were just talking about, you know, getting through the growing pains, and they love having resources at the, you know, the touch, but it can be overwhelming because there's so many resources in it curriculum. And we talked about how at the end of the school year, we're going to sit down and talk about what went well, what didn't go well, what did we find is really meeting the goals that we want, and are there parts that maybe we decided aren't, and maybe we're not going to use that. The thing with curriculums today for ELA is they give you the whole smorgasbord. And so they want to be able to sell it to everybody. Mm-hmm. So they're going to include things that are a little more dated, and they're going to offer things that are a lot more current. And so you're never going to use all of it, you know.
And I get what grades are involved in
So this is K through 5 that's doing it.
Okay. And then my last question is, have you gotten anything, not necessarily measurable, but anything tangible that you can see as from parent comment or students to show any impact yet? I know it's early.
Yeah, it's still early. Beth and I had discussed what kind of data we had so far, and it's difficult to report out, but at the end of the year, we will be happy to give all manner of data on how the first year went.
We're seeing a little teeny
we're
in
seeing
this
a
direction, but it's so early, so we
Yeah.
want to give you something that you can dig into at the end of the year.
Great. Great. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. No one? All right. Moving along. Do we have anything from Sandy?
She was not able to be
Okay.
here tonight, so no.
All right. New business.
So, under 12A is the preliminary draft calendar. It's really just here for a first look. We're not even really looking to discuss it tonight. I meet with the SBREA leadership every other week on Fridays, and we have discussed this a little bit this last Friday, and they had given feedback, or they're working on feedback. So I just wanted to get it in the hands of the committee so they could be looking at it as well. But we're not looking for any vote at this time. We can do it
Thank you.
at the next meeting.
Okay, yes, Coral.
I assume that because this is a draft and it's not, doesn't constitute a request for any kind of approval by the
Right.
school committee, it's just for our information at this point.
That's what Beth just said.
Yeah, that's what I just said, yeah. But hopefully I like to let families know as soon as we can, so we'll be looking for your support in the next meeting or two.
So great minds think alike, Carl. All right. And anything else on the
David.
calendar?
David.
Yeah.
David?
Beth, I didn't get the email of any of the printed materials. I didn't worry about it until, well, today, because, I didn't plan on having to do this from home. Is there any way, when you have that, if you have that in your email, you could forward that to me? If not, then I'll just have to make do.
Yeah, we can make sure that you have you get an online packet. It will be posted tomorrow anyway, after the meeting, so we can send it to you.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments? Thank you very much. Moving on, we have a request for authorization from Tanya Michaud. I don't know how. Michaud. The high school science teacher takes 12 students on an overnight trip to the FFA State Convention in April of 2024. I'll editorialize before she even speaks. We have always been stars at this conference, and they can't believe that we're not an ag school, was the comment I got one time, because our students were so great. So I will turn it over to Tanya to present her trip.
Yes, thank you. I'm pretty excited to have the opportunity to be the FFA advisor. It's been a steep learning curve for me throughout these 5 years, but our FFA has grown despite the setbacks with COVID, and we now have 18 active members, and we meet pretty regularly. And these kids are really excited to attend the state convention. We took our officers last year for just the one-day event, so we could all get a feeling for what is the state convention, what is it that they do. And all the girls were a little bit nervous at first, meeting new people. There's always a bit of anxiety. And they just had a blast. When you start seeing all the other chapters come together and everybody's in their official dress, it's just a very impressive event. And there's lots of leadership opportunities. There's career development events where they compete in various competitions. And will be my first year, assuming I get approval to take them on the overnight. It's 2.5 days and 2 nights. And they will be involved in quiz bowl. They'll be involved in leadership workshops. They will also be participating in a chapter development event on an ag issue and a chapter scrapbook. So every member knows that they need to be involved in some aspect of the state convention. And then we just hope to participate, if only viewing other events, to see what they're all about that we're a little unfamiliar with, and see where we go from there, I guess.
Before I entertain any questions, do we have a motion to approve? All right, that's Carl Stewart, motion to approve this trip, and Kyle as the second. All right, questions? Dennis.
I just had a question or two that basically we have, I think I heard you say that there were 18 active members.
Right.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Yes.
You did.
And there's only like 12 of them that are going to participate in this. Is that correct?
Yeah. Some students are a little bit older, some are younger. Freshmen weren't necessarily keen on going this year, and just weren't interested. They do have to give up 2.5 days of school. Their grades have to be in good standing. It's a bit of a commitment.
Where does this take place?
This takes place in Framingham. Massachusetts.
It's in the
Framingham. Okay.
At the Sheraton.
Yeah. Are they all female students?
Nope, we have 3 young men that are going with us. One of our gentlemen is staying. He's a freshman, so he's not attending with us, but the rest are female.
Okay, thank you. Additional questions? Carl.
On the last page of the request form, it says names of student participants, listing to be attached to the slip. Now, there are no names listed.
We don't attach.
Is it a school requirement that before the trip leaves, every student who's on the trip be listed so that the administrative office has the names of everybody?
But we don't publish it here. We don't publish the list here to go on the school committee packet. We have it.
Okay.
Our possession.
So in fact, there might be a list now, currently a list that's just not published.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because this whole thing gets posted online, so as a student record, we don't post that.
Okay, so that's a change.
It's what should have been done.
Right. Yeah, all the time. So everybody knows now if they are submitting for a trip, the number is fine, but don't send us the page with names.
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions from the school committee? All right. In that case, I will take a vote. Starting here, Kim.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, David?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm a yes. So that's unanimous. Thank you so much for picking up the charge here. We're looking forward to our students having this opportunity. Thank you for undertaking it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, moving on. Unfinished business. What do you have for us?
What do I have for you?
Dr. Superintendent.
Dr. Superintendent, okay. Oh dear, okay, so I don't know if we have any specific, do you want to talk at all about, did you do your competition last weekend?
We had a drone competition.
Yeah.
So we had 3 teams this year representing. We had like basically a 6th grade team, a 7th grade team, and an 8th grade team. Not that we were trying to do it that way necessarily, but that's just kind of the way it came about. We did have one high school student on the drone team, but she went with the robotics team, so there was a conflict there. So high school robotics team had an event in New Haven on Saturday, and the drone teams had an event in Winstead. So there were 27 teams represented there. We were 3 of those. And our 6th graders actually, believe it or not, did the best. They came in 12th. Our 8th grade group, which was the group that went to West Virginia last year, they didn't perform as well as they were hoping. They were a couple slots back, and the 7th grade group was a little bit further back behind there. But all in all, fun day. The kids had a good time and learned a lot. And we'll see if there's anything going further from there. There's last year the event in Winstead was like the only event for Southern New England, so you kind of that was a jumping off point to go right to West Virginia. This year, as it's grown and there's more teams, this was a preliminary event. This event last year took place a month later, so we probably weren't quite as prepped up as we were a year ago. But realized that trying to do drones in the winter with basketball and wrestling and cheerleading, there was a lot of fighting for space. So last year we kind of started really in earnest after February break and kind of had the gyms and cafeterias to ourselves. So there is going to be a New England Regional Championship in the middle of March at Cromwell High School in Connecticut. I don't know if we'll get invited to that. We may or may not.
So maybe we could do a drone over the basketball game.
There you go.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Dennis.
I just had a question on, are there any updates on the 3 items that are listed up there in terms of our district initiatives, like the Transcend, Early College, or Innovation Pathways? Anything new there to report?
Well, that's what he was just kind of under the Innovation Pathways.
The drone thing's sort of related to the Innovation Pathway. I mean, this particular drone event is really our after-school program, but it does feed into our Innovation Pathway. So we have the class that's going on, probably the main class right now that's going on for Innovation Pathways, our aerospace engineering, which the kids are doing rocket designs, but then they'll get into drones as well. Once the weather gets a little nicer, they're going to go outside and fly drones outdoors. So this competition is all indoors. Those kids learn smaller drones indoors. The high school kids in class will go outside with larger drones.
I don't know if we have any other specific.
I'll do a quick one on the
Okay, great. We just met, I'm not sure we have a ton of updates on everything, but go ahead, Mr. Carpenter.
Sure. So just really quickly, early college, we had Salmons Rock professors come down here to do sample lessons in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. For the 7th grade, it was the first one they've seen. We did not have 7th grade as part of the plan in previous years, but after going through it last year with 8th grade, we thought that would be good to include the 7th graders. 8th grade and got their first one. 9th grade and 10th grade had an earlier lesson in the fall, so we're hoping to possibly get one more in. And then right now we're trying to schedule the field trip experiences in 9th and 10th grade. 8th grade had gone earlier in the year. And 10th grade, we're trying to have it coincide with sort of a college and career fair. They call it their Futures Day, I think. Yeah, so we're trying to work that out to do that towards the end of April. And then we just have to get that last group in 9th grade before MCAS gets going in the spring. So those are kind of the early college things going. Transcend, are you going to cover, or you want me to say anything?
I mean, we're status quo. I don't know if we have anything
new. Have some meetings coming up in March and April.
Yeah, and that team meets on a regular basis.
The team meets weekly. Yeah. Yeah. So but we don't have any. It'll probably be a little more to report on. We're doing a few mini pilot experiences right now, which will have more. But after the core team returns from the Austin convening, we'll have a much larger report to give.
All exciting.
Yes. It was very exciting, whatever that noise is.
Right.
Yes. So I think
Any questions for Mr. Carpenter? Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Subcommittee reports. Sarah, it's all yours.
Yep, well, like Beth said, the Finance Committee did meet on February 8th. We met with almost, I think, everybody, Julie and Sandy and principals and Chris and Ed from Buildings and Grounds, and they each presented their section of the budget. And our next meeting is February 22nd.
Correct.
Thank you. I can just say, since you're here, I mean, I was quite impressed by how your team really was prepared for that.
Yeah, it's we spend a lot of time. Yeah, and we really like to get input from many people. We've been working with department heads and curriculum leaders and really anybody who wants to give input into the budget process. So for us, it's kind of a little bit of a culminating experience when we get to that meeting. So.
But I have to say, what was also great is the whole team recognizes the need to keep budget increases at a minimum, but not deprive our students of anything. And the message from the meeting, 2 meetings I went to the Finance Committee, it was so loud and clear that the message is there. Don't deprive students, but keep any increases to a minimum. And
yeah, it is we have a fiscal philosophy, and I think I should even put it right in the newsletter today. And you know, we want to be as effective and efficient with the resources that we're given, but we also recognize that the taxpayers work hard and give us their funding, so we want to make sure we're maximizing it, and what's best for student interest is the #1 way that we go about allocating resources. So it's something we live by.
Yeah, and it was clear. Thank you. Any other questions for finance? Okay, moving on. Nancy's not here. Dennis, anything to report?
We do have a date.
Oh, we do have a date?
That the meeting for community relations, public school advocacy will be on March 14th, but prior to the school committee meeting.
Okay, so she
did today.
Okay, I saw the back and forth. Yeah. All right. So for those people on community relations, public school advocacy, we're meeting on March 14th at 5 then? Yes. At 5 o'clock prior to the school committee meeting.
Right.
All right, policy, Dennis.
Well, our last policy meeting was in December, and we lacked a quorum. So one of the things that we need to make sure we do is that I think it was just you and I, wasn't it, Carl?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we lacked a quorum, so we basically couldn't hold our meeting, and that was in December.
Right, but what have you scheduled?
Well, we need to still finish up that. We had a group, there was
I know.
There was a whole big group of things that was on that agenda.
Right, but what have you scheduled?
30 different policies, new policies.
But have you scheduled a new date?
No, we haven't yet scheduled a new date.
Yeah, there is a date.
There is a date. That was agreed to.
Yeah, I can't remember what the date was, so.
It's this Thursday.
It's on my calendar, I think.
Yep. It is scheduled for...
The 4th,
I think it's the
15th.
15th, isn't it?
15th at 5:30.
15th at 5:30, right, yeah.
Okay, so that's the reason I have that in my calendar. It is, yes, Carl.
We haven't yet received a notice and an agenda for that meeting, or I haven't seen it.
There's
No.
She has posted everything everything is posted, but she might not have any, it depends what information comes.
Was it part of the packet for the for the finance,
No.
was it included in the?
It would be a
So
separate.
it's posted now?
I haven't seen it.
Oh goodness,
Well, I don't
we
think
have
I
we have to
received-
look on the website, people. So, let's see. She posts whatever agenda she's been given.
Yeah, but that doesn't really answer the question,
Oh,
because the question is, she might not have been given an agenda.
Well, then what would you post?
Well,
Yeah, I'm looking
it
at
has to be done by
policy.
tomorrow.
Right.
Well, we still have the same agenda that we had for the last one that we.
There is not one posted for the,
I don't think that we have the agenda for the one that wasn't held is sufficient for this next one.
Right.
I don't think that satisfies the requirement.
No, it has to be updated. Reposted, even if it's identical.
so there is one here from 12/18/23. If you want it posted, I'll have to have someone do it.
Dennis, is that what you would like, that we post with a new date and time?
Yeah, we
The
just-
actual agenda from the 12th of December?
The 18th.
Yes, all we
The
need
18th
to
of
do
December.
is republish that agenda.
That's what I just said,
You know.
all right? That's okay with you? We'll republish that agenda?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on, we haven't had personnel and negotiations. Art is not here, but recuperating quite nicely. Jim, do you want to report,
We
please?
met today, and, excuse me, laid out a schedule for,
I
Do
think
we
that
need-
Sarah agreed to make the motion because the whole school committee has to approve what we passed. So
Okay.
Sarah can read the motion for you. She took my notes.
I did.
you got it?
If you don't
do?
Go
mind.
ahead.
No, not at all. Okay, the Superintendent Evaluation Subcommittee recommends to the full Southern Berkshire Regional School District School Committee to approve the process timeline for evaluating the superintendent. The survey will go out on Monday, May 20th. It will close on Friday, May 31st. The chair of the subcommittee will have a draft complete to share with the subcommittee by Monday, June 6th. The subcommittee will have results compiled by Tuesday, June 11th. The subcommittee will meet with the superintendent on June 13th, and the final evaluation will be presented to the full school committee for a vote at the meeting on June 20th.
So moved by somebody?
So moved.
So moved.
And we'll take a second.
Second.
Thank you, Carl. Any discussion? First, I will tell you, everybody will get this calendar way in advance. Any questions? All right, seeing none, let's take a vote on that calendar. Kyle?
Yes.
So we're voting on the calendar, just
Approving the
presented
calendar,
by-
exactly.
Yes, the answer, I vote yes.
Aye.
Yes.
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 David?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, thank you. All right, do you have anything else for us, Jim?
No.
Okay, and everyone will get that as soon as Sarah has a chance to input it. All right, executive minutes review.
Nothing since the last subcommittee meeting.
Thank you. Anything from warrants, Dennis?
No, I've done them again, but, you know, that's a never-ending
Right,
course.
exactly. Curriculum, Julie, when your life settles down in a year or two?
Yes, well, hopefully it won't take that long,
Right.
but it feels like it will.
Right. We'll hold a meeting, okay? Carl, any recent news from MASC that we should be aware of?
No, but I'd like to have something, and I plan to have something for our next meeting. Is our next meeting the 7th
It
of
is.
March?
It is.
Yeah, okay, well, I will have something.
Thank you.
Nothing earth-shattering, but I'll have something.
Okay. Kyle, has there been anything from the Eagle Fund? Okay. Yes.
The Taconic, oh, that's not Eagle Fund.
Right.
The Taconic Foundation sent out the notice about sitting on the scholarship committees.
Oh, really?
You didn't get it?
that in my Taconic.
Okay.
How recently did you get it?
3 days ago?
Yeah, I usually get their stuff. Okay. Well, is this something that the whole school committee should be aware of?
I don't know. I will forward you the email. and you can
Okay,
decide.
great. Thank you. All right, Nancy's not here. I have nothing for childcare. Kim, any community, no. And regional agreement, no. All right, future agenda items. I know we're going to be working on the district, I know I'm
That's on the
going
March
backwards.
14th, it's the March 14th, that'll be when we start working.
Exactly, thank you.
The rest, we're still waiting.
And even though it's a subcommittee, if anyone has any sense of something you want to see featured in our next newsletter, please let us know as we brainstorm that.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Where would donations from community members go on the agenda? Say if somebody was...
It goes in the business.
So back way up that?
Yeah, because it goes to the business department, and then they report it out.
Okay,
And
so
Part
the
C.
process, could you just walk me through it real quick? Like the process of, say if somebody wanted to give a donation, they have to go to the business department?
Usually what happens is the notification comes, they usually communicate with the principal, goes to the superintendent, and then the superintendent would bring it to the business department.
Okay, so there's a guideline that should be followed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have anything on the audit?
Not yet.
And collaboration? Nothing?
Not
I've
for
heard.
me.
Not for me either. All right. I will now entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Okay, I move that the school committee enter into executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 21A, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation regarding pending unfair labor practices filed by the SBREA and grievances, and not to return to open session.
Second.
I second it.
Thank you, Jim. All right, so that motion was made by Carl and the second by Jim. Okay, a vote to go into executive session. We'll start over here. Kim?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Yes. David?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So at this point, we'll give you guys the ability to pack up everything.
Yeah.
You get